I've heard the claim made that perhaps the Beit HaMikdash had already been built chronologically when the Purim story happened, and that's part of the tragedy of the reason that the punishment was going to happen, because the Jews were not coming to Eretz Yisrael to be part of that reality where the Mikdash existed.
I know that according to the Seder Olam, that's not true. However, according to Seder Olam, following the parallel passages in Ezra, they had started building the second Beis HaMikdash. It was Achashverosh's predecessors who allowed the Jewish people to leave Bavel and Paras and those other places. And Koresh himself had given them money, a blank check basically, and told them, anybody wants to go back to Yehuda, go back and build Jerusalem and build a temple. But they did not really set themselves to it. One of the most important rules that come out of the Sefer Ezra and the book of Haggai is that the Jews should have been building the temple even if the permission was rescinded, as it was. They describe in Ezra explicitly, during Achashverosh's early reign, the Hamans and everybody got convinced Achashverosh to officially put a stop to it. The Navi Haggai had to go and tell them, by the way, you have to build a Beis HaMikdash, because even though eventually Darius came and permitted it once again, the Navi was telling them, you should have done it anyways. You had gotten permission. They can't rescind such a permission. And you're lacking the bracha because you were not working hard to bring this about. It seems basically, at that time, many of the Jews, because I'll point out, if Mordechai was in Shushan, and this is after Koresh's reign, that means he didn't answer the call to go back, right? Many Jews didn't go back. So that's certainly what the case was, that they were supposed to have already finished building the second Beis HaMikdash, or at least start early. They should have been in the middle of it, and it had been stopped. And they didn't put themselves to doing it hard enough. Yeah, that's what I believe shot. Read Sefer Ezra and compare to Sefer Haggai, and then you'll see that that's apparently the way the sages understood it. Well, 13, 14 years. Yeah. The first thing they did was do Korban Pesach, and they start building the temple. But then it says in Achashverosh's time, the bad guys held sway. So that's how you know who the bad guys are, by the way. It says the bad guys came, the troublemakers for Israel. What do you mean? They were offering help at the beginning when it shows up. That's the thing. So let's join you. And the Jews said, no, maybe this is our project. So they said, okay, we're going to put a stop to this. So the pasuk already calls them the enemies. We had to share about this. So, because the ones who are basically advocating for no temple are showing their true colors. It could even be Jews, by the way. If there's a Jewish movement, Chas v'Shalom, that is openly anti-building the temple and trying to prevent others from doing so, you should be neutral. If you don't go to Har Bayis, it's fine. But to say, I want to stop Jews from going to Har Bayis, I know one rabbi who did that, learn some Tanakh and stop trying to get Jews to stop doing mitzvahs. Stop trying to make it harder for Jews. And there was, unfortunately, you didn't have to be, let's say, Zionist, religious Zionist, secular Zionist, or even anything 100 years ago. But if you're fighting to stop, let's say, the Jewish Yishuv, Jews from settling the land of Israel back in the 1920s, 1930s, you were an enemy of your people. Okay, and such a thing unfortunately exists. Who was the biggest enemy of the Jewish people from the Jewish people, according to Chazal? Rav Shakeh. They say that who's Saramashkim in that's the that Rav Shakeh is a translation of Saramashkim. They say Rav Shakeh, the Assyrian general who led the siege of Jerusalem, the failed siege of Jerusalem, was a Meshumit. Why? Because he was an advocate. He was a Gullus advocate. That's what he advocated, and also not worshiping at the Beis HaMikdash. Back when it was a Chiddush. Back when it was a Chiddush, the Gullus had only been a few years old. Everybody had gone into Gullus, but he was an advocate for more Gullus and more destruction of the temple. Go figure. I think that a lot of the problems we have with Judaism, trying to convince, let's say, people to the right of why we should be involved in Geula, and people to the left, and trying to show them how perhaps they've been corrupted by too much TV and CNN. And by the way, there's some Jews who are infected by whatever they're getting their news. Get informed from the Bible, written by the prophets, and understand their view of history. And then you'll start to see things. Then you will want to, let's say, defend the Jewish people living in the land of Israel. Then living in the land of Israel won't just be like, it happens to be that you live in Teaneck or Passaic, but it's in Israel. You will actually live in the land of Israel.
We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. If you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.